Hello, thank you for joining me on this brief video about how we talk to ourselves, that is self-talk, and how we talk to others. You'd be surprised just how much unseen sacrifices that people make in order for you to have that beautiful day, either at work or at home. Sometimes due to your emotions, you are a difficult person to deal with, and someone has to make the sacrifice for you to have a beautiful day despite you yourself being a difficult person. Our interactions with people is more of a give and take relationship where we give energy and take energy, and sometimes when you're having a bad day, you also have a responsibility in contributing to that. And so it's very important to check the kind of energies that we give others, because what we give is what we get back. You might want to be a positive contributor rather than someone who is just draining other people of their energy and not giving back in a positive way. But in order to do that, you have to change the self-talk that you have inside you, because the way you talk to yourself inside yourself is going to reflect even in the way you talk to others. If you have harsh, negative criticism about yourself, you're going to give off that vibe to others in your regular communications. And so you can redesign your mentality and how you talk to yourself. So the key thing is to have awareness, cultivate a sense of awareness, so that you know what to say and what not to say, how to frame your talk, how to frame your language, and when to not talk, because sometimes we just talk for the sake of talking and it doesn't add value. So awareness will enable you to know when to spend your energy on speaking and when to not. So one of the strategies I use for a positive inner self-talk is to see what I'm saying to myself. I reframe the language in a positive way. For example, sometimes out of desperation, things have happened to you, and then the mind uses the language that, why do bad things happen to me? So if you catch yourself with such kind of talk, put a pause, because you are playing the victim. Instead, you can frame it in a different way, in a different language that is empowering. You can say, why do I find myself in these positions? So you are taking responsibility, because when you play the victim, it's more like circumstances are happening to you. But when you take responsibility and say that, why do I find myself in this position? You are also acknowledging you're part of the responsibility in finding yourself in these sort of things. And this gives you a sense of power that, you can always do something. You're not just a victim of circumstances. The first statement puts you in a position of complaining and desperation and condemnation. You're condemning yourself to suffering, while this situation is not a permanent event. It's just something that is temporary, and the emotions will pass away. While the second statement, which is, why do I find myself in this position, it puts you in a position where you can cut the problem into the basics and say that X event happened and it's causing me to experience Y emotion, and that way you are able to dissect the problem to the core of it and deal with it much better without spending a lot of energy. The core message here is change your vocabulary and stop using less empowering words. Like, for example, I always never, and then you follow it with a negative statement, all right? I always never get, all right? And using statements like I hate and then XY, all right? Instead of saying I hate, you can use the words I don't like, is a more empowering word compared to I hate. It helps you to convey the message in a more positive way. So just do an overhaul of your entire language and vocabulary that you use during your self-talk. And this brings me to the second strategy of having a positive self-talk. Speak as if you're on the positive side of reality. So for example, if you're feeling like a victim and you've been taken advantage of, and you're having that negative self-talk inside your mind, and you can say, I am strong enough to deal with it. And in that position, you are recognizing your strength as a quality, and also you are affirming it, okay? Another quick example is saying that I will change or I should change. Using those languages, they are limiting because they are putting you on the negative side of things. And so saying that I am changing works much better than saying I should change or I will change, all right? That indicates that you are still on the negative side of things that you don't want to be in. And in some situations, we say things will work for the better. Instead, you can say things are working for the better. You're recognizing that things are working despite the current circumstances which don't seem to reflect that. So these things will help you to take an empowered position. The third strategy that I want to share, though there are many things that you can do, to eliminate negative self-talk is to cut out foul language, the curse words that we tend to use very normally. We watch in movies and then we pick these things up and then you just go out blurting them out. Cut out the strong, dirty language. Train yourself to use soft language on yourself and also on people. Remember, this is more like a program that you're installing in your subconscious mind, and it will take a bit of practice, but once you integrate it within your personal discipline, you will eventually reach to a point where the negative self-talk is down to a minimal, and even when you're speaking with other people, you're more considerate, you're more flowing, you're able to think before you speak. And as I finish, sometimes we have criticisms that we have which develop negative self-talk. For example, in the way we see others, you might see two friends and they're laughing and they're shouting, all right? They're just having their moment. If your first reaction is to simply criticize negatively, then you need to change that. Instead, have a different perspective and say that, wow, they're having a good time. What a blessing. Just look around and you'll see different blessings happening and appreciate them, because that will help to reemphasize positive self-talk in your mind. When you see people are having their great time, just say, what a blessing. Just look and feel great and say, what a blessing. Anyway, that is it for now. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. Thank you and have a great time.